technology software which is decentralized, where there are different blocks on which the data is stored. So it is decentralized, wherein there is no one agency which is handling it, whereas one change in any of the blocks leads to changes in all the others.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So, do you think that taxing recently the cryptocurrency, it has been proposed that cryptocurrency will be taxed.
Yes, sir.
So, what do you think it is regarding its legality or illegality in India?
So the budget said that a 30% tax will be imposed on the transfer of the currency. So, sir, since the others, the ones such as Bitcoin, they are not being taxed as of now because there was no scheme by the government. But now they're saying that 30% of the country.
So, will it make it legal? That implies that it is legal.
No, sir. I think the legal currency, legal tender will just be the central bank's digital currency.
So, taxing something, how is it related to legality?
So the benefit there, that is the capital gains, as we can say, they are making on the transfer of the currency. That amount will, on that amount, the tax will be charged.
No, my question is that suppose something is taxed.
Yes, sir.
Does taxing make it illegal or illegal?
So ideally, all the things that are taxed are amongst the business operations which are legal. But in this case, I'm not so sure, sir, if that will make it
See,
illegal.
okay, yeah, income tax department doesn't have authority to check whether it is illegal or legal. It has to be taxed whether it is legal or illegal.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
legality is under the different department. It's not the duty of income tax department whether it is any income. If it is being incurred,
Yes,
that
sir.
will be taxed whether it is legal or illegal.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Okay.
okay, okay. Tell me something. These days there is a hue and cry about Fed interest rate policy. Okay. So, how do you think it is going to impact the Indian financial markets?
Yes, sir.
If,
Fed interest rate, you said, sir.
yeah, yeah, US Fed interest rate
Yes, yes,
policy.
sir. So,
So,
sir,
how it is going to impact?
sir, in case the Federal Reserve in US, whenever they increase or decrease their rates, it definitely impacts the Indian market, sir. Because if the rates, suppose an investor wants to invest in a bond, say in India or in USA, and if USA market is giving them a better rate of interest, they will leave the Indian market and go purchase the bonds in the foreign in USA. So definitely our currency in a way is depreciated, sir, because money, dollars out of our economy are going out and going into the US economy.
So, how will it impact the Indian equity industry, equity market, stock market?
So it will be bad for our economy if their interest rates are better, because our currency will be depreciated and people may withdraw money from India and invest it there if their interest rates are better
So,
there.
okay, so how will it impact Indian stock market, equity
Yes.
market?
So the interest will be lesser.
So, do you think it is good for equity market or bad for equity market?
It's bad for equity markets, sir, because people will go out of India.
Okay, you know what is the difference between private equity and public equity?
Yes, so private equity is suppose there's a company which is not a listed company, and the shareholders in that company will have their private equity, whereas a listed company which has come out with an IPO is a public listed company, and people like you and I can also invest in that, buy its shares. So that is a public listed
Okay.
company.
Okay. You know the concept of future value and present value?
Yes, sir.
Can you please which one is means larger, future value or present value?
Larger. So present value is the value of stocks or what of the.
Yeah, suppose just take a simple transaction that I mean that suppose you have some what I'm asking that what is the which one will be more, future value or present value of any financial cash flow?
So it can vary, because if it's higher right now, it may deteriorate in the future and become less in the future, or it may
Suppose
appreciate.
you have 100 rupees now and
Yes,
100 rupees in after 1 year.
Yes.
Which one will have more value?
So right now it will be more value because after the inflation is adjusted, later the value may decrease because of the inflation rising in the economy.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, what is bad bank?
So Bad Bank is basically a bank which now we have launched it in the form of NARCL, is an asset reconstruction company ideally, where the NPAs of banks are bought by this company, which is a bad bank, and sold.
Okay, fine. You know the term VIX?
VIX.
Huh? VIX in Indian financial markets, VIX, or any financial market, VIX.
So I think it will be some exchange if I'm not wrong, but I'm not sure about it.
It's volatility index.
Volatility.
It's a volatility index.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So you have also read accounting?
So in my school, I had studied in 11th and 12th, but not
Okay.
after that.
Okay. 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 Fine. So tell me, if the correlation between two variables is zero, does
Yes.
it imply that it is uncorrelated?
If the correlation between two variables is zero, then they are
If the
not.
correlation, if the correlation coefficient between two variables is zero,
Yes.
does it imply that they are uncorrelated?
Yes, sir, I think so. They will not be related if there is no correlation between them.
No. If the correlation coefficient is zero, that implies that only they are linearly uncorrelated, but they can have higher order relations.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So thanks, uh, Prerna, for your time, and so let's proceed
Vidhi,
further.
Vidhi,
This is
Yes,
Vidhi.
thank you,
it's
sir.
with
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Pankaj, you do you want to leave or anything? Any work you have?
No, it's fine. Let it go on. Please let it
Okay.
go on.
Prerna madam will take.
Okay.
Good
Hi
evening.
Vidhi, good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, congratulations for clearing your mains.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, Recently, our finance minister has said that government will eventually privatize most of the PSBs.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, ma'am.
and will keep its presence to a bare minimum. What do you think is the need? What's in your opinion is the need for the privatization of banks?
Ma'am, since the PSBs in India currently, there are 12 PSBs. So they
Okay.
are in a lot of NPAs, they are facing more than the private sector as well. So they're not that profitable. That
Mm-hmm.
could be one reason why the privatization is thought of. And it is often felt that privatization of any industry or any company leads to better competition and better indicators, so on, because like they will try to compete in the private market. So
Okay.
it is assumed that the business will improve.
Okay, so do you find any concern regarding this? I mean, if we privatize our banks, will it be all good or do you find any concern?
Yes, ma'am. The point is that private, any entity which is private focuses on its profit, ma'am.
Okay.
Whereas the public sector enterprises, they not only work for profit, they are actually there for helping the public at large, masses at large, such as uh, like the PSL targets and priority sector lending and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. So they prefer to give the funds to all sectors and not just for profit. So that,
Okay. Okay, good. You have mentioned priority sector lending.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is it?
Ma'am, priority sector lending is when some 40% ideally of the commercial banks
Mm-hmm.
is set aside of the credit they are giving is actually given to a few vulnerable sectors such as agriculture, MSME,
Mm-hmm.
and renewable energy. And all of this.
Okay. So have you heard of the term priority sector lending certificates?
Certificates.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, I've heard about it. It's basic. I'm not too sure about it, ma'am, but it is that after, suppose this much amount has to be lent in the priority sector lending.
Yeah.
So a certificate in return can be used. I'm not too sure. I can't
Okay.
explain, ma'am.
It's basically a tradable certificate
Yes, ma'am.
which banks can use interchangeably. Okay, fine. Uh, so have you heard of the term neobanks?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What?
Neobanks are basically digital banks where all the facilities which are provided by banks are actually provided on a digital platform where there is no need of branches at the back end.
Okay. So, can you give some example of the neobanks?
Ma'am, I think the SBI Yono app is being referred to as a neobank.
But can we call it a neobank? It's just a digital platform of SBI, right?
Yes.
On a digital like lending or anything can be done from that. That's just a app designed by SBI, right? So can we consider it as a neobank
Ma'am,
or
I
it's
think,
entirely different?
ma'am, although it's just an app of the functioning of SBI, but when I Googled the examples of
Okay,
neobanks, it came up.
okay, good. It's okay. So we can say that it's a amalgamation of finance and technology, fintech,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Fintech industry.
Yes,
So what do you think are the growth drivers of fintech in India?
growth drivers of fintech.
Yeah.
Ma'am, basically, nowadays, especially after the COVID induced pandemic,
Yeah.
everything has gone digital, and we also fear to go to bank branches in person.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think because of the COVID primarily, everything is now being carried out digitally. So, that
Mm-hmm.
is how it has boomed in the recent times. Otherwise, it's way easier, also, ma'am, because at the click of a button, you can perform any operation. So, I
Mm-hmm.
think people are preferring it over going to
But
branch.
don't you think in our country where digital illiteracy is there, I will
Yes.
not say that we Indians are digitally literate enough to handle these fintech. So what are the other challenges except of the lack of financial literacy and awareness? What are the other challenges that are being faced by these fintech?
The first would be financial inclusion because, like people in the urban areas can still do all of these, are tech savvy enough to operate these, whereas the rural India may not be able to perform all its functions.
No, I'm saying with the challenges which we are going to face. Yes, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
So, ma'am, one would be that the customer base may not be enlarged as much as I was
Okay.
saying. Then the other thing would be that it is maybe a stable internet connection in a lot of areas, which
Mm.
will not help it to boom.
Okay. Any kind of risk that you find?
Yes, ma'am, it may not be 100% secure as well if there are some hacking which takes place of these apps, or
Yeah.
so that will be a problem.
Okay.
Cybersecurity issues will arise.
Yeah. Okay. And have you heard of the term base rate?
Base rate, yes, ma'am.
Please explain.
Base rate is the rate, minimum rate at which the banks are supposed to lend to their customers, which was
Mm.
later changed to MCLR, ma'am. If I'm not.
Why was there a need to change it to MCLR when we?
And because the base rate was calculated on the basis of average cost which the banks were occurring while lending, whereas the MCLR was marginal cost of lending rate. So marginal is basically for every one increase, so one additional loan that they're paying, the additional cost they have to face and not the average cost. So
So, what's in your opinion are the components? Were the components of base rate? Only the cost of funds or anything else?
on the average cost of funds and the operational costs of the
Hmm.
banks.
Anything else you can remember?
Average cost, operational cost. Ma'am, that is all I can remember.
Okay, no issues. Okay. Uh, you must be well aware of the term inflation, right? What do you find there's any positive impact of inflation?
Ma'am, it's beneficial for sometimes when there's a recession.
Mm-hmm.
So inflation helps us because when the inflation is there in the market, it might lead to. So there's a Phillips curve, ma'am, which says that inflation and unemployment are inversely related. So when there is inflation, it is often said that unemployment is less, which means more people get employed, which
Mm-hmm.
leads to increase in the GDP of the country, and aggregate demand in the economy increases. So it is better for improving
But
the.
Phillips curve, don't you think
So
is outdated right now? We
Yes, ma'am,
It's
because stagflation is also an
correct.
opposite to the scheme.
Okay, okay, 1 minute, Prerna.
Yeah.
So you talked about that inflation and
Vidhi.
unemployment. Sorry.
Okay.
Vidhi, you talked about that inflation and unemployment has a negative correlation, right?
Yes,
Inversely related, right?
yes.
So can you please tell me a scenario where the both can be directly related?
So right now in our Indian economy, what we say that we're facing stagflation, which is basically that even when we have inflation, still our employment rates
Yeah,
are yes.
yeah. So can you please tell me a scenario, just analytically, that when inflation and unemployment both will have direct relationship?
So we're facing that currently in our Indian economy when their inflation is higher, whereas the economy is the jobs are not increasing.
So why do you think it is happening? I'm just talking about the general thing. How do you think analytically that in general they are inversely related
Yes.
and they can be directly related. So how is it possible?
So when the population growth is greater than the GDP growth in the economy, where there are way more people in the economy looking for jobs, whereas the GDP is not increasing simultaneously that much. So that is when we are not getting
Okay,
jobs.
fine. Okay, fine. Yeah. So the thing is that there can be relative difference between the two variables. Okay. Suppose the GDP is growing, people have purchasing power. So that will lead to the inflation. But at the same time, the working force is also growing at a larger rate of. That can cause the unemployment at the same time.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, fine. Yeah. Please, Prerna, go on.
Yeah. Thank you. So tell me, what are the measures to check inflation?
So, ma'am, monetary policy measures would be that a repo rate is increased,
Mm-hmm.
then reverse repo rate is also increased in the economy, then open market operations are carried out
Mm-hmm.
in the economy.
Okay. Only monetary policy is the way with which we can check inflation, or is there any other way?
Through the fiscal policy as well, when we increase the interest rates, increase the tax rates, and
Okay.
when we increase the tax rates and reduce the government expenditure.
Whatever you have mentioned, repo rate and all.
Ma'am, repo rate is reverse repo rate, MSF, bank rate,
Mhm.
open market operations, and LAS
Other,
is what is called reverse rate and reverse repo rate.
yeah. These, I think, uh, these are most of the the tools that you have mentioned. These are the quantitative tools, right?
Yes,
What are the other tools?
ma'am. Ma'am, would CRR, SLR count?
These are all quantitative, right?
Yes, ma'am.
When we are increasing, decreasing the interest rates, these are all quantitative.
Yes.
Yeah. There are also qualitative tools. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, just go through that. Okay. When did the Negotiable Instrument Act commenced?
Uh, 1881, ma'am.
Commenced. I'm not saying that
Ma'am, I'm not sure about the date.
82. It's 82. Okay. Yeah, it's just an year after. Okay. So, do you have idea about negotiable instruments?
Non-negotiable instruments are the financial instruments such as checks or promissory notes, which can be exchanged for money.
Okay. So, in our currency notes, it's also written that I promise to pay the bearer this and this amount.
Yes.
Why don't we consider it as a promissory note? It's a promise written in our currency note.
But ma'am, the currency note is actually a legal tender which is backed by the RBI, and
Hmm.
the banks or anybody who we are paying the currency note to has to accept it because it is a legal tender.
Okay.
Okay, so
Uh,
one minute, then a related question.
okay.
So, do you think why cryptocurrency should be it deserves to be a currency or not? Cryptocurrency, does it deserve to be a currency if you go by the fundamental aspects of being a currency? Why
The
or why not?
fundamental aspects, it may not be considered as one because it is not legally backed by any central bank, and it
No,
is not.
let's keep it aside that whether it is legally legal or illegal. I'm asking that see, being a currency has some basic criteria. Why something should be a currency and something should not be a currency. So, do you
Yes.
think that cryptocurrency, from that point of view, deserves to be a currency, or it doesn't deserve? What's your view?
So it can be exchanged. So in that case, it can be classified as one, but because it is not, it is virtual, so that does not fit the
No,
traditional.
so virtual is fine. Virtual can be something can be virtual. Even we use the online money and all those things are virtual in a sense. So it can that can be a currency, but the point is it can be transferred. Everything is there. So what? So you mean that cryptocurrency deserves to be a currency?
Not in all its aspects, sir, because a lot of people don't have access to it. At the that is.
Let imagine that everyone will have the access. Imagine that in future everyone will have access. Then
So I think legal backing is a very important point of a currency
no.
being a
See,
currency.
legal backing or illegal backing is decided by the government, right? Just for an example, means keep let's keep aside the government part. Okay, just in an open market scenario, why do you think that cryptocurrency should be deserves to be a currency or not?
So, like in El Salvador, which is a country in the South America, they have declared it as a national currency. So, sir, if a country is willing to accept it as a currency, and if its accessibility is there in the future, not as of now, sir, I don't think
See,
it should be a
that's
currency.
fine. That's fine. Might be that so many countries have taken the wrong decision. Earlier, China allowed it, then it made it illegal recently. Okay. My point is, government can be wrong. There's no doubt about it. My point is that uh, why? What is the fundamental features that something should possess in order to be a currency?
So, it should be.
Something against, yeah, that's what I want to know, that whether cryptocurrency falls into cryptocurrency satisfies those criteria to be called a currency or not, apart from legality and all those kind of things.
Yes, sir, it is exchangeable. It can be transferred from one person to another. Things can be bought with the currency. That are the key characteristics of a currency, sir.
No, so one of the, let me tell you, the one of the fundamental aspects feature of a currency should be that with currency you are measuring something, right? you
Yes,
are you are trying to value something in a reference frame of that particular currency.
yes,
So the volatility of currency should be lower than the volatility of that commodity which you are trying to
the
measure, right?
fiat currency.
Yeah, yeah. So if the currency itself becomes very highly volatile, then the commodity itself, then it does not satisfy the fundamental condition to be a currency, right? So even the cryptocurrency is so much volatile
Yes, sir.
that it has a way larger volatility than compared to the commodity itself.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Right.
one of the key points that it cannot be, it doesn't satisfy to be a currency. Okay, fine. Yeah, Prerna, please go on. Sorry to.
No, no, it's okay. What else? Have you withdrawn a money from ATM? I
Yes.
wish to believe you have done.
Yes.
Was that an honest or office transaction?
Sorry, ma'am. Was it a
Was that an honest or office transaction?
honest or office transaction? Ma'am, I don't know what
Okay.
is talking.
Okay. Uh, why do you think white label ATMs have been introduced when we already had brown label ATMs?
I think to increase the number of ATMs which are there in the economy because of white level ATMs, such as the first one which was started by Tata, that they have reached to a lot of more places. So their number of ATMs have increased.
Okay. So you have written your hobby is food blogging, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you understand by the term McDonaldization of society?
Ma'am, I can guess it. I'm not completely sure about it. I think it will be in the such as McDonald's, which because of its less pricing as compared, and a lot of new varieties that it brought to the market, such as burgers and fries, which was not a very common concept earlier. So a lot of people started eating that kind of food, which is also considered unhealthy. So the economy, the
Okay.
people want to
Yeah,
eat.
it's mostly adoption of fast food restaurant and all that. Yeah. Okay. So what's your take on organic food popularity?
Ma'am, I think it is a great thing that it is happening now because see, whatever we are eating generally, we used to eat, we didn't know if it's organically grown and if what pesticides have been used in it. So now with the markings that have been done on these foods and the organic nature of them, it's definitely healthier, ma'am.
But don't you think it's too way too costly for a middle class people to afford all the things organic and
Yes, ma'am, it definitely is. But there is also one concept which is nowadays rising, which is ZBNF, zero budget natural farming. So it is believed that if we practice that, it will be cheaper. And ma'am, because this type of pesticides came primarily after the green revolution in India.
hmm.
Before that, although we were not, the food security was not as much, but the number of chemical fertilizers and all were lesser. So that was also, ma'am, that has been happening in India since the ancient times where we are not using the fertilizer, we are using organic products.
Mm. Okay, what is the cuisine of Delhi? Does Delhi have any particular cuisine or what's this?
No, ma'am, not one particular cuisine. If you like to believe that since the Mughal era it's been there, so Mughlai
Yeah.
can be one cuisine we can assign to it.
Okay, what are the different types of cuisines that we can have in Delhi?
I think Delhi is the best amalgamation of all the cultures which any city can have. We have
Right.
people, we have Punjabi food from makke ki roti to sarson ka saag to Gujarati food to South Indian dosa. So I think it has everything.
Okay, so nowadays we are seeing a trend that traditional foods are dying, right?
Yes,
Do you have taken any step through your blog
yes.
to protect that? Have you done that?
Ma'am, I keep on posting the traditional things that I like to eat. So in that way, I'm promoting those in a sense, if you can say that.
Okay, what type of traditional foods have you tried?
Ma'am, makke ki roti and sarson ka saag will be one of them. Then I had actually got to know about this thing called black wheat, black
Mm-hmm.
atta. So
Yeah.
with that, you can make machi and all. So I ordered that actually, and I really like it with that also.
Okay, what is this particular trend that is rising that different color of foods are there like purple cabbage, green cabbage and everything. What is it actually?
Ma'am, there are varieties of the original plant, like bell peppers also as that we see, which is the green one is
Green,
capsicum, and then there's red bell pepper, yellow
red
pepper.
and yellow, yeah.
Each of them has some characteristic or the other which is beneficial.
Mm, yeah, I think okay. One last question will be my from my side. What is KYC?
Know your customer
Yeah,
details.
what are the OVDs?
Official, the documents that we are
Yeah,
supposed to
it's
valid,
officially valid documents. Yeah,
officially
so
valid.
yeah, correct. What are the documents that are accepted?
Ma'am, like Aadhaar card, PAN card, whichever
How
is a government designated.
how many are there?
Ma'am, I don't know the numbers, but
Okay, it's been posted by RBI that there are six types of OVDs. Just go through that. Okay. I think I'm done from my side. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so hello.
yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so one question, one or two question I would like to add,
yes,
Vidhi.
yes, sir.
Uh, you talked about. Do you think? Can you please tell me in what sense cryptocurrency was designed to be a decentralized system, right?
Yes, sir. So cryptocurrency is based on the technology, which is blockchain technology. So
Yeah,
blockchain technology, in its essentiality, is a decentralized technology in which there are
yeah,
different blocks which are divided, and
yeah.
any,
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I agree with you. My point is that cryptocurrency was basically designed to be a decentralized system, right?
yes, sir.
So how do you, can you please tell me uh, um, that how it can be a centralized in some sense, which could be a risk to the system, although it has been designed for the on the basis of decentralizing the system, it
Yes.
has some centralized risk. Can you please tell me what is that particular risk to the system?
So a change, if it's made by any person who is a part of it, then the change occurs in the whole blockchain.
Okay. So can you please elaborate it? What do you mean?
So the blocks, as they say, are connected through internet connection or whatever internet protocol. So in that, whenever a change is made, suppose the currency is sold, so all that change is visible to all the blockchain members.
Okay. The point is that the entire system is virtual, so it can be hacked by some of the software people, right?
Yes.
And so in that sense, it becomes a very centralized kind of risk. So
Yes.
how is it related to electricity consumption?
Electricity consumption.
How this is related to electricity consumption?
So electricity consumption is also decentralized by the way of discoms, that all the distribution companies who are selling electricity sell it through there, such as Reliance, Tata. So I think in that way it is
No, no, no. I think whose ring is? I think some background news is there.
Yes, sir. I'm
Noise is
so
there.
sorry, sir. I'll just cut it if you allow me.
Yes,
It's
okay,
okay,
go
no
ahead.
issue. It's okay. Be
So,
there. Be there. It's okay.
okay.
Like,
In what? So basically, how is it related to electricity consumption? That there is a term called mining. Okay, so cryptocurrencies are mined.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and lot of mathematical computational problems are to be solved related to blocks. Applied supercomputers and very high powered computer to mine those blockchain issues at the ground to solve computational problems. And it led to the huge electricity consumption in the country.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so fine, okay, fine, that's fine. So that's fine, Pratyush. Please go on.
so we will conclude it, Vidhi. One or two questions from banking side I'll like to ask you. What is SLR?
So SLR is statutory liquidity ratio,
Yeah.
which is basically the amount which is set aside by the banks in the form of cash and liquid assets like gold and government securities, which the bank keeps with themselves and does not lend.
Okay, so under which act it is regulated?
So if I'm not wrong, it will be Banking Regulation Act.
You are going right. Okay. It's okay. Good. Banking Regulation Act 1949. Do you know the section under which it is regulated?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. You know what is per capita income?
Yes, sir. The income of the country, which is per person, if we divide it by the population.
Per? Pardon?
When the total income of the economy is divided by the population, so the
Population.
income of
So
the person.
that population comprises the whole population of the country or the workforce of the country who is producing or contributing to the GDP.
Sir, I think the whole population.
Okay, whole, yeah, you're right. This whole population. Okay, tell me, what is national income?
The national income is the income that all the products, like the GDP of the country, the NNP of the country, which is
NNP of
basically,
the. Okay,
yeah.
fine, good. And what is CRR?
So CRR is cash reserve ratio, which is which is the amount kept with the RBI.
Kept with the RBI. Okay. So what is the CRR rate in present days?
So I think 4%.
Okay, 4%. So tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. What is the what are the functions of RBI?
So the RBI is the lender of last resort to the banks, and it is also the banker's bank, as they say. Then it is the banker to the government, because all the government transactions, such as selling the government securities, are carried out on behalf of the government by the RBI. Then it is also the institution which prints currency.
Okay.
and it is the representative of India in IMF.
Okay. So, one next question is that, uh, uh, what is consortium lending?
The consortium lending is basically a group of banks which come together to lend to one entity.
Do you know the recent scam regarding related to consortium lending?
Yes, sir. Which NPA has been declared by, I think, PNB, the Gujarat Shipping Corporation.
Okay, it's a Surat-based company, AGB Shipyard.
ABC Shipyard. Yes.
8GB Shipyard. Okay, so it's fine. We are done with that. It was long enough. Okay, so we intentionally do it so that we'll cover all the questions, so that you will not have any hesitation in the real interview. And we try to cover the general aspect questions and your honors related papers.
Yes.
We'll try to cover the other aspects, okay, in the next interview, okay,
Yes.
or the whatever we think that is been left or something like that, we'll think about it, and when analyzing after analyzing your interview and or recorded interview, we'll see whether anything else need to be asked. We'll ask in second interview, right? So, this is the feedback time.
Yes.
I would say that you were perfect. Okay, you're really good. And I did not see any lack of knowledge or anything like that. You are perfect with your knowledge, almost. Okay, and from my side, I do not think that anything is there that needs to be worked. You just keep yourself like that, okay, and everything will go good. Okay, I hope everything will go good. From my side, I did not observe any discrepancy or anything like deficiency in personality or mannerism or anything like that. I did not observe. Okay, so other panelists, I like to have them the feedback about you.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. So it was very interesting to talk to you. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So you have your knowledge base is good, really good,
Thank you.
and other things also good. But you'll have to brush up some of the concepts in related to financial system. Some of the concepts,
Yes.
okay, because you already know the basics. You
Yes.
already have the idea about basics. Just try to keep updating with newspaper things and understand some of the concepts.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So otherwise, you are perfectly fine. And in the next interview, we will more focus on the concept side.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So all the best from my side as well. Thank
Okay. Vidhi, it was very, very nice talking to you.
Thank
For
you.
me, I think personality wise, mannerism wise, communication skill, everything was very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very good. And you have also good knowledge of your subjects.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's, I don't find, like Pratyush already said, that I don't also find that you have any lacking part on your side. You are very good, and just maintain this cool and calmness in your real interview. You are definitely going to sail through it. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
So I hope, Nidhi, I hope that do you have any question from us?
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, sir, I wanted to show you my kurta. If it is okay for
It's
you.
okay,
you.
it's fine, madam. We'll see
I will
that.
stand up, sir. If this looks fine, it's a straight kurta.
It's okay, it's
Then
fine.
with white,
Ma'am, beige.
gray,
Beige.
beige color. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I will say
Yeah.
that please wear a gray leggings. You are
Green.
wearing leggings
Yes, ma'am.
because it have a gray print over there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So kindly wear a gray. Arrange for a gray. Okay,
Okay.
because beige will, like, somehow it's not looking very attractive or very,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
beige color we don't prefer much.
Okay.
Okay, but because it's a legging, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So just wear a gray one. It will look perfectly fine. It's fine.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
Anything
So,
else?
yeah.
Anything else? Nivedi, you want to ask?
Anything else? Yeah, yeah. You can ask if anything you have in mind. You can ask
Okay.
us.
So you have, I hope that you have a kind of, you will leave from here with a good feeling that you have attended an interview, a
Yes,
long
sir.
interview, and
Yes, sir.
all the aspects of your academics as well as other aspects has been covered.
Yes.
We stressed on some parts to show so that we could observe some nervousness on your face, but it was really good that I didn't see anything like that.
Thank you, sir.
And it's really good. It's really good, and thank you very much,
Sir,
Vidhi.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
So, like, we
yeah.
don't
Please
fill
ask. Please ask.
we don't fill any biodata form in this
No,
interview.
you do not need to fill
Uh,
the biodata form.
so, like, you knew about the hobbies and everything, but
Okay.
since they will not know, so should I mention it while I
Yeah,
interview?
see, if you want to set the path of interview towards your hobbies and all, okay, you just when they will tell that, tell me about yourself, okay,
Yes.
you just continue with the hobbies and all, because you need to continue. How will the otherwise your introduction will be of two lines. Like, I'm Vidhi, I'm from Delhi, I did the graduation like from this and that. Okay, this is not the complete introduction. Okay, from right regarding introduction, I have uploaded the video. I hope you have subscribed the
Yes, sir.
channel and all.
Yes.
So you try to add your what hobbies and extracurricular activities during your introduction. They will
But sir,
definitely,
do
I
you
think.
think a lot of cross questioning will come because they can ask me anything about food or places
No, no,
which
no. See, whatever they will ask you, madam also asked about food blogging and all. I also asked about food. I do not think that they will go that much deep, okay, regarding food blogging and all, because this is a new trend, okay,
yes.
blogging, and you must be aware of everything like that, okay, which is content of food blogging and what are the other things, okay. So they will not go that deep. They will try to know you, okay. If they go that deep, you just say that, sir, I am not aware, I could not recollect it or recall it, okay. So I do not think that this will happen to you,
Okay, sir.
okay. And I think if you will not say that, then also they'll go to the BA on what is your philosophy. You have got good knowledge of that also. You can, take the path of interview through that also. Okay,
Okay.
so no issue. Mention it. It will not create any problem. They will just ask, see, we have got 1 hour over here, but you will get only 5 to 15 minutes over there.
Yes, sir.
4 to 5 panelists will be there. Only two questions will they ask. They will ask.
Yes.
Okay, so no need to worry. Be keep your introduction crisp and compact. Okay, and whatever you say, to the point, as you beautifully, the whole interview has been conducted, and you really was really cooperative and to the point, to the whole. Be like that only. Okay, so it will be really good. You will be in. Okay, I wish that you will have good marks in your mains
So,
also.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
so Pratyush, we can take the feedback from Vidhi.
Yeah, you if you can, Vidhi, you give the feedback from yourself also, that how was the interview and how did you enjoy it or
Very
experience.
good. Yeah, it was a very good experience, sir. And especially when you asked the philosophy terms, which I thought that, maybe they won't know, but you asked me about Aristotle, Socrates, and all of that. So I did not think about that while I was preparing. So I thought that I should now read more about that as well.
Yeah.
And the questions were thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. I really enjoyed this.
So is the thing, it happens in interview that candidate think that they might not be knowing about it, and that's why they do not brush up the basic terms. And when they reach the interview, and there's someone who is of on philosophy or something like that, that they have studied, because philosophy is not just a subject you are studying. Someone can have the, enjoy their timing pastime as reading philosophy and all that, right, isn't it? So if someone is enjoying it, and the person who is interviewing you is 30 or 40 years older than you. So they might have the basic know-how of this philosophy and all that thing. Okay, so they might ask you questions. That's why I try to have the basic idea of philosophy, so that you will not have to worry about the real interview. That if someone asks you, what will you tell, or you will get puzzled over there that I have not brushed up. So you must brush up the basics. See, one last feedback I want to give you, or an suggestion, that they will be more concerned about your graduation, okay, your personal appearance, your personal whatever you tell, they will counter you on that basis. Okay, some of the questions will be from banking industry, financial institutions. That's it. That the interview will be completed in those 6 7 questions only. Okay, they do not have that much time. So okay, Vidhi, we have
So
really good experience with
yeah, so
interviewing you,
good,
and good luck. All the
yeah,
best. Okay, we'll meet in the next interview.
all the
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
all the best, Vidhi, for you.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, Vidhi.